Hello everybody, welcome back to the Final Fantasy X HD Remaster. So I'm going to be talking Blitzball in this one, and I'm really just going to go over basically the tutorial here. So I'm going to walk through the different, I guess, segments of the tutorial for the game. So I'll be honest, I actually really like Blitzball. I think my enjoyment of it has increased over time, just because at the very beginning I didn't really know what I was doing, and honestly the first Blitzball match is actually really honestly difficult. You're just up against some stats that are kind of tough to overcome sometimes, but yeah. So here we're just gonna go over the kind of like the basics, and I mean, honestly, so the game is a lot like soccer. So if you're familiar with the rules of soccer, or how soccer kind of works anyway, um, again, it's pretty similar. The only thing I would say, or one of the major differences, would be like there's no like offsides, right? So you don't ever have to worry about throwing a pass, too far. But also, generally speaking, the characters move mostly automatically. You can actually, move your ball carrier, which is very important to do. I highly recommend that. You really don't want to be using automatic movement for the whole game, because your ball carrier just will go or move in places that you don't want them to, and it actually makes it really difficult to win that way. So, at any given opportunity, you want to be making sure that you're switching over to manual. Unfortunately, the game does start you out with automatic, so you have to be. You really just want to be really quick when the first game starts, and the first time that you get the ball. And again, you want to just hit the triangle button and change that right away. But all right, yeah. So overhead map, yeah. Here it's kind of just gives you the summary here also of kind of like the map, but um, the map is honestly how how I play. I'm really not ever paying attention to the actual like in-game main character. It's really tough to orient yourself, I think, by actually just looking at the character. I use the little mini map, so that's at least that's my recommendation. But all right, so here's kind of like the action command tutorial. So you've got pass, shoot, and dribble. Dribble obviously is if let's just say you brought up your menu and you didn't want to shoot or pass, you can select dribble, and then you can go back to moving. Let's see here. What do we? I think I'm gonna knock out these top to bottom. So all right, passing is next. Um, Passing, basically the thing that you have to know about passing is that you won't get tackled if you select the pass command like right away. I guess that we can I guess talk about that more once we get to breakthroughs. But passing is just how you obviously, maybe it's just self-explanatory, right? Where we are trying to get the ball to a different character. The pass stat though, and passing, you have to have enough of the stat itself in order to pass. So like if you try to pass and you have like a really low pass stat, like Wedge for example has a really low pass stat towards the beginning of the game. He's got like a pass stat of 3, and so that means that your target has to be really close to him if you want to have a successful pass. Because if you don't, you will fumble the ball, and that gives the other team an opportunity to get the ball. Yeah, here is exactly what they're doing here. So they've kind of nerfed down Titus's pass stat to 3, and so we're trying to pass. That's almost a half court shot or a half court pass, and so again, as the ball travels through the water, you run out of pass, and then if it hits 0 before it gets to the character, boom, it's a fumble and it becomes loose, and then really anybody can pick up the ball at that point. So there are techniques though, pass techniques that add to the pass stat. So even somebody like Wedge can somewhat throw a pass with that technique. But all right, so here's shoot is next. Titus is one of the best. No, I think honestly, I think Titus is the best person for being your forward like a shooter, right? Um, I say that because while he doesn't end up with the best shot stat at the end game, so basically like a level 99 Titus, I think he's in the 80s for his shot stat, but um, the game is more than just your raw stats. It's all about techniques, and Titus has some unique shot techniques that make him the best forward in the game, in my opinion. Those being Jack Shot and Jack Shot 2. Again, I think that that actually is what makes him the best, the best forward in the game. But anyways, again, shooting works very similar to passing in that the ball will lose, or your shot counter will tick down, and you want to be as close to the goalie as you can when you actually make that shot, so that you lose less, by the time it actually gets to them. The other thing though is the goalie has a catch stat, and here if you notice here, so the calculation right now is a 9 shot versus the 8 catch. There's also a randomized aspect of it though, so even though we had 9, we should have subtracted 8 from that and ended at 1, but if you notice there, we still had 2 left, and again, that's just because there's a little bit of a randomized aspect to the shooting. Now here's going to be a shot that's way too far away, and he's only got about a 4, so he's going to end up at 0. That's an easy catch for the goalie, and yeah, so not going to be successful there. Same with passing though. There are shot techniques like I had mentioned earlier, like the Jack Shot 2, but there's plenty of other ones as well. But those will increase your shot as well. So. All right, the next part of the tutorial is the HP. HP really is just about taking actions like passing. So like let's just say you have a pass stat of 10, like Titus does right here. When he goes to pass, it's going to take him 10 HP to actually pass, and he'll use that 10. HP also does regenerate over time, so I should say as long as you don't have the ball though. When you're carrying the ball, you count down your HP and you'll use it. Why is this a problem? Can it be a problem? Yeah, sure. If you're using techniques, especially that cost a lot of HP, you can run out of HP really quickly, and so at that point, you won't be able to use those techniques. HP just goes up over time, though, and at a certain point in the game, I'll be honest, you're probably it's not going to be a problem. HP is one of the stats that you just really don't need to worry about. Again, most of your characters are going to have enough. If you're, there's been times where I've basically and one of the things that I do to level is just kind of sit in the back and pass the ball between characters. And sure, you can run down your HP by just passing back to back. But honestly, in the normal course of a game, you're probably not going to be running out of HP. The only other time that's an issue is, again, like early on in the game, if you've got a really, really good technique, like let's just say Nap Pass 3. I think that costs about 500 HP to use. And so if you throw, one Nap Pass and you're really low level, well, you can probably only use it one time, and then boom, you're not going to be able to use it anymore. So, but it's pretty rare that characters have problems like that. But and again, on top of that, that's not going to be an issue like midway through. Like I don't know, I'd say like even like in the level 40ish range, that becomes much less of an issue because we'll have so much HP at that point. But all right, so I think is this the block tutorial? Let's just see here. Basically, whenever you are up against or you're in an encounter here where a character has, or if you're not going to do a breakthrough, you'll have to get by this guy. So again, this is where the example here is we're trying to pass, and this person is going to be able to block our pass and take off a little bit of the pass stat. Now we were still able to get the pass to the character that we wanted because that character only had a block rating of 2, but that's not always going to be the case. And so here is going to be an example where it looks like he's got 18. So right here, we just know there's no way without a technique that you're going to get by this guy, with an 18 block stat, unless he completely misses. Sometimes that's possible where like an enemy character just doesn't get a hand on it, and so your pass will just go through, but that's not something that you can really rely on. But here in this example, we've got looks like we're going to try to shoot here, and these two characters have a block rating of 4 and then 2. Now, being that this is a half-court shot, there's no way that this would work anyway, because even, let's just say, best case scenario here, these two characters can't get a hand on it. You're just not going to have enough shot to get, although I guess that was a pass, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, okay, so that did actually get to the guy. But yeah, had that been a shot, that would have not worked. The ball would have lost too much from its shot traveling through the water, and then you'd have to make up for the catch stat as well. So again, that's actually what it's looking like. This has got us set up to do here. So we're going to take a shot, probably get it reduced. That was by a lot. Okay, we're down to 2, and it's already at 0, and now that's an easy catch for the goalie. So again, and that's one of the reasons why the Jack Shot and Jack Shot 2 is so good. Actually, it completely removes the blockers, and so you don't even have to worry about them. And then you're really just left with trying to overcome the goalie's catch stat. But all right, so what's next here? Breakthroughs. Okay, this is a very important aspect of the game. So this is where, let's just say you've got a really low shot or a pass rating. You know that they're going to be able to block it if you just try to block, or if you just try to pass by them. What you want to do then is you want to break through them, meaning your character has an endurance stat, which is the EN. So Titus has 11 endurance right there, and the attackers will reduce that, and then if you ever get down to 0 endurance, then that person basically steals the ball from you. It looks like Grab has an attack stat of 7, which means we would actually be able to break through to him probably pretty easily. Again, though, there's a little bit of randomness to that too, and then on top of that, you'll also have to worry about potential techniques like, let's just say, like a nap tackle, right? Because that'll add to his attack stat. And unfortunately, we don't know really. I mean, unless you're really paying attention before the match starts, you won't know. Again, unless you're really paying attention and really keeping track of these guys' attacks, you won't really know what kind of attacks that they'll be throwing at you. And then on top of that, there's even some randomness to it, where sometimes they just won't use like their best tackle on you. A little bizarre, but whatever. But yeah, so anyway, so we've broken through our first attacker here because he had the 11 block, right? And so it was like, okay, well, now we're probably going to be able to sneak by this pass, by the other two, and that is exactly what happens there. The other two characters didn't have as much of a block stat. So, again, it's really about being strategic. Whenever you are trying to decide on whether or not you can or should do a breakthrough, you got to look at, the attacker, and then you have to consider the possible techniques that the enemy characters could have for you as well. But all right, so the next part here is tech copy. Tech copy is a very, very important aspect of Blitzball that allows you to learn the techniques of opposing players. There's other ways. It's not as easy, and not everything will be available. But sometimes techs are offered as rewards, and actually there are some techs that can't be tech copied, and you can only get as rewards. But tech copy is a very, very important thing to master. It can be a little bit difficult, and the timing isn't always very easy to get down. But like, let's just say the drain tackle 1, 2, and 3 are usually pretty easy, because right as the tech copy appears, you'll just hit the button. But there's other things like sphere shot, or in some of the other shot techniques where you want to wait until, like, let's just say the player's foot kind of comes in contact with the ball. And so, again, it can get a little bit complicated as far as the timing on tech copy. But with enough practice, you should be able to, again, should be able to copy the things that you want. There's only one thing I think that I know of that's not the case for, which is anti-drain. I hesitate to even bring it up because most of the, you're not going to be coming across that in normal play because the opposing players won't normally have that equipped. There's a way, I guess, apparently, I should say, to where if you have somebody hired and then you equip anti-drain and then you let the AI basically hire them, then there's a chance that you'll see that character with it. But then I know that, sorry, this is a very long tangent, but and that tech, I know you actually can't tech copy it though either, even if you try. There's just no way to do it, and it seems like a bug. So anyways, all right, so status ailments. There's poison, sleep, and nap. Poison basically just makes it so that you can't use your techs. Sleep literally puts you to sleep, which is pretty brutal. And then wither reduces your stats. I don't like venom so much as I like nap and wither. So given the opportunity to choose one or the other, I will usually go with nap first, and then I'll take wither second, and then venom last. Venom is nice though, especially on enemy forwards. It can prevent them from using shot techniques, so it makes it a little bit easier for you to block shots and stuff. So all right, that is actually going to be it. Yeah, that's really all the time I've got. So as always, I hope this tutorial was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.